need more coal. That's fine. When I was moving from Bosnia to U.S., my older brother was in Washington, D.C. But they say he had the same climate like Sarajevo. Winters are cold and stuff. I said, no, I'm going south. So I picked up the biggest city in the south, Houston. It's warm and nice. I like it. And this magnet is giving the same thing. Well, anyway, Valerie, you want to say something? Come on, 3 cameras. Say something.
So, well, then I'll start from the pyramid. What I'm sure, actually, and according to the knowledge which I have received for the last 30 years of investigation of the pyramids all over the world, this pyramid here is the oldest one of the oldest pyramids on our planet Earth. And such types of pyramids will be found later on other planets too, because they played a very important role. They are GPS marker from the beginning. So what's the idea of a GPS marker? It means that those extraterrestrial civilizations which are on the higher level, and my friends investigators know very clear that all ancient text says there was a time on planet Earth when we have been visited by very high developed living civilizations, and they have giving us the knowledge. They have been cooperating with us. So for them, pure technologically, they do not fly. They made a transition from one dimension to another, kind of a chronic corridor. They need to know where they will find themselves next moment. So, very important aspect is like a GPS place where you want to go. Then, you need to know the energetic pressure, because any UFO is a vehicle having many tons of weight. You make a jump through the time corridor, and then you need to know, and you need to have enough energetic pressure to keep your vehicle stable in this place. Because sometimes, according to the natural, factors, they can make a mistake, like 1 or 2 kilometers away. Then, if they jump through time and space corridor and find themselves not here, the other place, it can cause the crash. So, this pyramid actually is a GPS marker inside of the pyramid. Maybe kind of a device which always transmits energy and information into space continuously, daily. But sometimes there are periods when this pyramid is working more intensive. It depends on 2 subjects: the activity of the core of the planet, like solstices or the other moments, or somebody is calling information. Like dialing computer, what is the temperature now in Houston? Okay, we're calling information. So the sensors starts to give the information. This is the most important thing. Then, this system on the planet Earth is connecting together many pyramids. And the main pyramid have been always on the northern pole. In ancient time it was Meru. So I'm sure that this pyramid have been oriented exactly on Meru. But when the last serious flood took place, and according to the ancient text, which is giving exact information, that a terrible asteroid impact took place at the end of the summer, 13,667 years ago. So it hit the planet so heavily that the planet lost in orbit, and our present calendar now is 365 days, but before it was 360. 5 days further from the sun, climate changed critically. But the axis of rotation have been changed. First, after this impact, the pole turned 20 degrees south and 20 degrees west. Then it needed, I'll tell you, not approximately, 1,150 years when the planet had gotten relaxation a little bit, just 50 degrees, but 15 degrees left. So the pole was dismissed, like now 15 degrees. And during my presentation I will show you all the proofs about it. So, okay. At that ancient times and up till now, there is a very important device always hovering over the northern pole. In our understanding, it's kind of a transmitter and receiver which puts all the planets in our galaxy together. So all pyramids all over the world in any time must be oriented exactly to the northern pole, and the energetic beam which comes out of the earth looks exactly on this craft, on this device, which always hovering, also interdimensionally. And sometimes it can be seen, and I'll show you the pictures of this object hovering on the northern pole. It is also done by very good cameras. So, and it means that this is actually a technical device, a very important device for any well-developed extraterrestrial civilization, and actually for us too. Because people who have been living around, did they understand that or not, they played a certain role. Always extraterrestrial civilization, they attract people to support, sometimes to cut the heel, natural heel, so that it would be oriented exactly to the north. So from my point of view, and I'm sure that approximately 13,000 years ago, this pyramid have been rebuilt. And you can see clearly that there are at least 4 sides of the pyramid, northern side and eastern side, which are big sides, because this is the main mirrors. Understand what it means? Mirrors, reflectors. This very important mirror is reflecting the energy and signal to the northern pole. But in general, even those part of the pyramid which is on top, smaller one, is more than enough to retransmit a signal, well, to the skies, let's say to the universe. And now let's go to the other point. People, some spiritual people who have been living here, they need to be prepared to work with such type of, let's say, pyramid and equipment, because it's, on one hand, from the beginning, it's a natural pyramid. The extraterrestrial civilization thousands of years ago also gave a kind of advice, and according to ancient Egyptian texts, they made a choice of 64 special places all over the world where pyramids have been constructed. And some of the pyramids have been pure, let's say, artificial, like Egyptian pyramid. They are pure artificial. But the oldest one, they are half natural, like this one. Only sides have been cut. So it was done by hands of people, those who lived around, those people who later then have a chance to work with this pyramid, because being on top of the pyramid in a certain place, you can have a spiritual contact, let's say cooperate with extraterrestrial civilization. But your body, your energetical system must be prepared for this. Otherwise, few months and you get cancer. So, and here we have one most interesting, in my opinion, example of the system which was made, produced, it's handmade to tune energetic system of people to safely work with the pyramid. So, the principle, like a hand, like this one. If you take a hand, because everything is done according to the principles. And ancient knowledge says that the human body has the same construction as the earth, and the human body is constructed exactly to the same principle as the universe. It's so called Kabbalah or Kabbalah on principle. You will know about it later. So, and if you take like a human body, for easy explanation, you know we have 7 energetic bodies. Imagine these 7 energetic bodies as the playing cards. How to call it, I don't know. Let's take just 7 transparent. So this is your body, okay? We'll take a first card. What we see? We see copy of blood circulation system. But this is energetic skeleton. And if our vein is carrying blood, biological liquid, with all other stuff inside, energetic channels are vibrating with a certain vibration ratio. So, until this doubling, one vibration, here another vibration, this another vibration, and so on. And this is, it gives to the blood a certain capacities, and giving a possibility to trigger the all complicated system. So, the same here, blood. This is my skin and the blood system. Actually, if you take the earth and the lithosphere, exactly the same principle. There are some kind of energy channels moving through the earth, okay, through the soil. So now try to imagine how clever that people was, that they started the way from under the pyramid, or doesn't matter, from the beginning, and then going along the energetic channel through the soil. So they went like, cutting, making down. One reason, because when you enter the channel, you are under one type of vibration, and it corrects and tunes your energetical system and cleans the body. I'm sure that when you get out of here, you will feel yourself much better, because, do you understand it or not, you are under this cleaning influence, tuning influence. So, moving through these corridors, it gives you a very unusual possibility to tune your energetical system for most important aspect. First of all, to avoid any cancer possibilities. And then, when your system is tuned, you can go up to the pyramid, work there without any risk. Did you understand? Thanks for your attention. So, it's just shortly, because actually it's unbelievable knowledge how they did it. I told once to Sam, I would be most happy person if I could spend 1 hour among them, just to talk, just to experience. That was absolutely unusual people, and what they did here, well, actually, I think that this system have been closed because of the reason. Because when those ones who produced, who made this system, they passed, okay? Then for a certain moment, for a certain period, this system have been used by different people, even in our times. But then, I think maybe extraterrestrials somehow advised to someone to close the system. Because if you go inside and you don't understand what is it and what for it must be or it can be used, well, it can cause serious problems. So it was done. they closed it, and Sam is absolutely right, because it's needed so much, time, so much power to seal it. So somebody had a possibility and, how to say, idea to persuade people to do it, and they did it. So now, thanks to Sam, we can sit here, it's already opened, and we can experience this influence, a very unusual influence, because energy comes not from the earth, it comes from up. I feel very, very good. So, and this energy is connecting with the pyramid. So, each minute we are under special influence. These tunnels are tuning us on a certain vibrational ratio to preserve our bodies against any negative influences. But it's negative just because it's too high, not because it's too bad, just high. Again, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Valerie. Okay, let's make a room for the next group, and if you can please follow me.
Pyramidal structure, and I want to experiment here how the energy was changing here. It's possible from Germany to after my experiment to measure the energy. Yes, thank you. I will use a very simple instrument. It is a pentatonica tuning, because the sound is the main medium for the working with the energy. And for this, the healing field here, I think maybe I will try with its function. Yeah.
Beautiful sound. Oh my God. Some notes go through.
Thank you. It was changing energy fully. Yeah. Is possible to measure it, please, just now? Is possible to measure the energy now?
Wow.
I tell you that this room is tuned exactly on few notes, because some of the notes are going through just when all the body starts to vibrate.
Yes, I felt
Some
it.
other, you felt it, you see? So exactly, it's tuned. So
Yeah, it's tuning.
thank you,
Yes, yes, yes.
thank you.
Thanks.
You did it.
Yeah, my body here.
Oh, wonderful, thank you. So, best way to understand this, this physics, wave
Yes,
physics,
wave.
much easier to understand through music, because it's one of the same principles.
Yeah, the same.
So if you see and feel it here, the same principles are working there, and we have a key for understanding, to cooperate and trigger the system.
Sure.
Because human being constructed so complicated. So we need just keys, ideas to go near for understand. You did it well. Thank you. Just great. I tell you.
The frequency is the same.
The same, yes?
Yeah.
From the stone, but the frequency from the room has changed.
Yes, and how much?
No, I can only
You can-
measure the frequency.
Only frequency
Yeah,
of the
and the
stone.
frequency from 8.6 is the same.
The same, the
From the
stone.
Yeah.
stone.
But the atmosphere, the other.
Yeah.
But you did it from the soul.
It is also, yeah, it's my improvisation.
Oh.
It was spiritual improvisation for this.
Thank you.
For this
Thank
stone,
you.
yeah.
I think,
There's
yeah.
a
Thank
crystal,
you.
the crystal
Very
there,
nice. Oh my
and
gosh.
some code inside, and I listen to this code. to listen to,
Well.
to sing to the code.
I tell you, maybe in your previous lives you have been one of them.
There is a music therapy effect.
It's very
But you,
powerful.
yeah, well, I tell you,
Go here.
perfect, perfect.
Please, she must
Something special.
It's clear music.
It's a normal. Cleansing process. It affects, this. That's the case.
We can move on slow. 10. We came here and discovered the entrance to the first underground chamber. Now this chamber is 12.5 meters long. The wall over there, the wall over here. It is 4 meters wide from my left to my right. 4 times 12.5, it is 50 square meters. The height of this room is about 4 meters. So if you imagine this chamber without the wooden support, then you would sense how big it is. It was completely filled with this loose material, and we had to remove it all manually using the wheelbarrows, the help of our volunteers and our workers. And then we realized that there were 8 tunnels leading to this chamber, meaning this was rather important meeting place. We also noticed that while people were walking through the tunnels, they simply feel good. And we've been receiving a lot of testimonies. People, for example, with asthma, they would breathe so well, they get out, they don't need the air pump anymore. People with all kind of allergies get out, the allergies are gone. People with all kind of pains, the pains are gone. So we wanted to find a scientific explanation for what's happening inside. And we started different measurements. For example, on the poster here, one instrument called air ion counter is shown, with which we were measuring the concentration of negative ions. As we know, as the medical science knows, negative ions clean the atmosphere from the dust, raise the level of oxygen in our bodies, and they kill viruses and bacteria. So, more negative ions, better for us. In our offices and homes, due to a lot of instruments and technology, our air there is not good, negative ions very low, a lot of positive ions, which are not good for us. The average concentration of negative ions in our homes, 100 per cubic centimeter. When we go out to the city centers, about 400. In the villages, out at open, 800. By the rivers, 1,500. In Bosnia, the biggest concentration is on the Olympic mountain Igman, close to Sarajevo, on the top, in the forest, about 5,000. Now, during the summer season and the winter, but during the summer, our volunteers do regular measurements of negative ionization. In the morning, before anyone comes, at the noon time, with a lot of tourists, in the evening when people are gone. We have usually 2 guys doing the measurements. They do it 3 times, and they are getting the average values. And in this chamber, the average value during this summer was about 36,000 negative ions per cubic centimeter, which is roughly 10 times higher than at the healthiest place in Bosnia. So it looks like somebody was building an underground healing facility. So now we are getting another aspect of the project, healing aspect. But negative ionization can explain just a part of us feeling good, or even some diseases being removed here. The second thing is cosmic radiation. As we know, as we walk on the surface, a lot of cosmic radiations. Some of them simply go through us, go through our planet. But some of the cosmic radiations are not good for us, and our body cells fight those radiations. Well, here, 25, 30 meters below, we are not finding those bad cosmic radiations. Number 3, natural radioactivity. We also know that on some places on planet, there are places with a lot of natural radioactivities. So we had a team from University of Sarajevo with the Geiger instruments that are measuring natural radioactivity. The values were 10 times lower than the minimum allowed. So no natural radioactivity. Also, people from the past, they knew about so-called Hartmann grids, the lines running east-west about 25 centimeters, north-south, the places where they intersect, bad for us. In ancient Babylon and ancient Sumerians, what they were doing when they were building their temples, they were placing those stone columns at the places of the Hartmann grid intersections, so people wouldn't get affected by those negative energies, let's call them that way. Here, the values for Hartmann grids equal 0. So in other words, the moment you get inside the tunnels today, there were no bad radiations for us. So our body cells don't have enemies anymore while we are here. So without the enemies, our body cells can start doing their job. And their job is to fix the problems in our body, to start the regeneration process, to start the self-healing process. And probably that's one of the most important things that we have with this underground labyrinth. If you're ready, you can move on. The guy with the instruments, he was measuring something outside. Right now I don't recall which one exactly, but he was showing me, okay, see, this radiation, that came here, no cosmic radiation.
It's like a Geiger counter doesn't tell you what kind of cosmic rays, whether it's proton, electron.
Geiger, they were measuring natural radioactivity with that one, natural radioactivity. And the values were 10 times lower than the minimum allowed. Ceramic material with 90 degrees here. What was its role? It's here. Then you got this guy here, completely different. Do they interact energetically? Let's see if this girl... Cindy? Where is our dowser? Is she here? Yeah, please come. Let's see about this megalith here. Do we have again the water somewhere?
Yep.
Yes.
Right there.
Exactly. Where?
Right here. Right there. And
So
it's
it begins there?
It's going that way, flowing that way.
This way.
Yes. Yeah. Kind of goes all the way to. It goes to here actually. This is one.
So both ceramic and this
both,
stone are above the water stream. How could we find out
No,
the
wait a
connection
minute,
between the
let me
two?
see. More than one stream.
More than one stream.
This gets harder here, huh? I mean, above it was loose, and then this is far
No,
down as you
no,
could go?
this is clay. This is natural flooring, and this clay is very old.
Hmm.
But then the thing is, with these underground water streams, I mean, we are finding them so many. I mean, naturally you can find some, but not so many. And some people even claim that all the tunnels are built above the water streams, so which probably means that they did some engineering work. They were making some canals below us. They knew some connection, water, moving, energy, different types of energy.
And it's
Hollow
it's a big
places.
it's a big. I'm getting about 60 feet between the two streams. One is higher, one is lower.
Which is also important when you have two parallel water streams. In between, the electricity is formed
Yeah.
when they move.
No, there's a distinct difference between that boulder there and
Yes.
and this.
There is a connection between them.
Yeah.
This looks more natural.
This is natural.
This is natural.
that,
That's ceramic.
could be made.
Yes. But there is why they put them together. Interesting.
So that's where they were originally. They weren't moved by the volunteers or anything.
No. I mean, that's so
leave
heavy.
them.
I mean, you could try to move it. You would need like 50 people to move this guy. Very heavy.
That's when you realize, when you start working with stones in nature, you realize how difficult it is to move stones in nature, unless you have some really good technology.
They're really big people.
We don't have different sizes. It goes under.
It's like a layer, huh? Structure.
Yes. What have we got in here, son? Our megalith K5. The biggest one so far. We project it to be over 40 tons in mass. It goes on. It goes about 3-4 meters to the left under the conglomerate. Wow, huge. Okay, we can have the new.
When they're
Well, this is loose.
excavating,
This is loose material.
which is loose and which
This
is
is
not.
loose, and this is relatively compact.
This is clay.
You have clay layer here.
You could make
this
some
one
good
now-
pottery from this.
This one now is not the loose material because we had a free part of the tunnel being so small that nothing is to do, so we are widening it.
Okay.
And this is now the
Oh, this
material
one from
from
the
the walls here.
Okay. How many of you are over there? How many?
5 inside,
5 inside.
behind him.
Okay. All right. Hard work, a lot of work, and slow work. November 2010. We were coming from this direction, came here. This chamber was completely filled with the fill-up material. When we cleaned everything, we realized that the height is about 2.5 meters. It goes like this, 2.5 meters. It's a 30 square meters, or 300 square feet. And there are 9 tunnels leading to this chamber. Let me show them to you. The first one we just used, number 1. Number 2 is below the rock. Number 3 below the rock. Number 4 is over here. Number 5 behind the wood. Number 6 is open now. It's over there. Number 7 below the rock, closed all the way to the top. Number 8 behind the drywall, going this way. And number 9 behind me, which is open right now. So we have 9 tunnels leading to this chamber. So when we came from here 4 years ago, we were thinking which way to go. We took compass looking for southeast. This is southeast. We removed the drywall, started removing the filling material, and after 4 or 5 hours we could see the hole in the wall. We removed more material, the hole was getting bigger and bigger. And then we crawled in to the hole and we discovered the first 2 open sections. So after 5 years of work, we found the first 2 open sections. One going to the right, which is 200 meters long, and then it is blocked at the end. One going to the left, 154 meters, and then it's blocked. On this map, it should look like this. So we are here right now. This is the tunnel going to the right, 200 meters, and this is the one going to the left, 154. The one, and the pyramid is there. The one to the right, we can see a few photos from that tunnel section. For example, the first one, the top left, shows the tunnel over here, and to the left and to the right we can see drywalls. You have drywalls, meaning there are more tunnels. And then we can see canal here. Canal, 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 in different sections, different heights. And we can see the water. And now let's let this group go first. Our French group. Hello guys. Hello. Hello, hello. Hi. Remain the same. Now this year, as you probably know, in May we had terrible floods in Bosnia. Half of the Bosnia was flooded. You would expect that this water level rises. It did not happen. It remained the same. So it meant for us that the water in the pyramid tunnels is not the surface water, but it has been here for a very long time. So we took samples to analyze it, because if the water has been there for a very long time, you would expect it is full of microbes and dirty. So we sent samples to Institute of Public Health in Zenica, which is about 30 kilometers from here. They did chemical and microbiological analysis. The results, the water was drinkable, healthy. Well, how come it's healthy? Because of the high concentration of negative ions. They act as the barrier for viruses and bacteria. They don't allow microbes their way in. And then we wanted to see if this water had some energy qualities.
Thank you. A big one. I'm sorry for interruption. We continue. Sorry.
No. Fantastic. Thank you. Thank you for the work.
So what we did, we sent the samples of the water to here, Ljubljana, Slovenia, to institute called BIO, Institute for Bioelectromagnetism and New Biology. So what they did, they were giving the samples of the tunnel water to a group of Slovenians for 7 days. And the other group were receiving samples of city water, but they did not tell them which water they were drinking. And they were filming them with a special camera called GDV camera, developed by Professor Korotkov from University of St. Petersburg. Thank you. Now, the city water that we drink, as we know, this water is captured somewhere in the mountains. It goes through the metal pipes. It's full of chlorine. It's full of traces of heavy metals. So by the time it comes to our kitchens, energetically it is a dead water. We drink it, it simply goes through our body outside. But this water here, you drink it, it feeds your cells, bodily organs. It even reduces the entropy. So that's the reason why we got this certificate saying, yes, you do have water with the healing qualities. Then what we did, we got the water in the plastic bottles, the kind that we use every day. We got outside. The moment you get it outside, it loses 50% of the properties. Why? The cosmic radiation. And that's why we decided to bottle this water and sell it. We call it as a souvenir. But we bottle it in the glass containers, dark brown, because if it is dark brown, dark green, dark blue, it reflects the radiation. So it keeps the properties. So we started selling it last year as a form of income, so we can continue the work here and pay archaeologists, analysis, and so on and so forth. So if some of you wants to get that water, it will be available before the lecture today. So in front of the conference room we'll have the water and the books and DVDs, and if somebody wants to buy, you're welcome to do that. Yes.
I took water back last year,
Yeah.
and I didn't put any protection around it for going through the airport or the X-ray or TSA, none of that stuff. And 2 days later, I was speaking at a dowsing organization in Sedona, and they measured it completely, and it was at least 20 feet. It had the highest force field of life force that this person, who was a brilliant internationally known dowser, he said it's the highest life force field he's ever seen in any body of water. So even though it may have been contaminated along the way with the airport and the x-rays and all that, it still was probably at least 20 feet, and they verified it had healing properties and probably could be used even just homeopathically, small drops to charge other water or other liquid. Yeah.
Yes. Well, that's the reason why we sell it in the small bottles. You don't really need to drink 2 liters of this water. I mean, water carries the information. And as we know from like Dr. Masaru Emoto works, I mean, depending on surrounding areas, what influences the water, that's how the water, reacts. If you're sending the chakras of love, the water will make those beautiful, molecules. If it is hate or whatever, then it changes the molecular structure. If it is contaminated, it looks bad. If it is city water from London, New York, or Sarajevo, it also looks ugly. We have some photos on the posters. So we send him our samples also, and you will see how beautiful structure it forms. Why? What does this water remember? The best electromagnetism, the best ultrasound frequency, the levitation frequency, the best Schumann resonance, the high negative ionization. So this water is alive, it's a happy water. What I'm going to do now, I'm going to show you one of the tunnels with the water. That's new from the last year. We've been working very hard this past winter and spring. It's about 150 meters, so I'd like to show you, but briefly, so we're going to walk a little bit quicker. So please follow me, and at the end of this time...
And quite a chore, huh?
A lot of questions, I must say. The original builders and those who were closing some sections, some they were leaving open. Why they were leaving them open? Probably there was a reason. Water is so important for so many reasons. First, water gives humidity. High humidity acts as a binder for the material. Imagine that we open a couple more entrances with the airflow, with the hot summer, dry air. You drop humidity, everything would collapse. So humidity is an important factor. But not only that, with the quartz crystal and the water, I think you start generating more negative ions. Plus you are getting healing qualities of the water. So it was for them working on several different levels. We try to understand it. It's totally different concept than ours. We try to understand it.
Guy Wolansky has a healing machine in New York, about 40 minutes drive from New York City. He pulses, he uses Tesla waves. He creates Tesla waves at 7.83 hertz. And he found that he gets better results if he controls the humidity at a certain level, temperature and humidity. So it could be 80% humidity, because he finds there's a resonance of the water molecule he stimulates. He uses frequency, but I can't say more because it's proprietary. The frequency he uses has to do with excitation of the water molecule.
Okay, let the others come and see, please.
Can you take it?
Can you take? Okay, take some. Look over there. Over there is conglomerate. Yeah. It's closed all the way to the top. And you see it's standing there. It doesn't come down. Like it is programmed.
It's ridiculous. They rammed it in here with some pressure, or sucked it in, or levitated it in.
It has to be under pressure.
Oh, whatever the hell they did.
Maybe like we do now concrete, you know, with the pumps.
Yes.
Tubes.
Exactly. Yeah. All right. Let me come down. How is it possible that we have such a good airflow? This tunnel here is about 4 meters in height. Some tunnels 2.5 meters, some of them 2, some of them just 1 meter. If we start cleaning the tunnels, for example this one here, then this ceiling would drop from 4 meters to 3.5 meters over there. Then it continues to drop to 3 meters and 2 and 1. And after that it started rising again. 2 meters, 3, 4, 3, 2, 1. So it goes up and down, up and down. So let's say if we view 100 meters, it looks like a sinusoid. Now, this is very unusual. When we make tunnels today, you make it 5 meters high, you put fans back and front, and you got the airflow. They did not have fans, they did not have power, nor they needed it. Because when you have a low ceiling, the pressure that's coming from the back is stronger. When you have high ceiling, the pressure is weaker. When you have low, stronger, weaker, stronger, weaker, different air pressure makes the air move. So when you have one long tunnel, like a sinusoid, it's like you placed a big fan at the beginning, pushing the air slowly. And when you have, look how many tunnels we have here, hundreds of them, it's like we have hundreds of fans. And there is a constant airflow. How do we know that? The temperature in every tunnel is the same, 12 degrees. Humidity the same, 75%. It means there is a constant flow of the air in every corner. Genius. Without technology, just with the architecture, they were achieving so much. And for those more on energy and spiritual level, as you were walking through the tunnels, you were able to see this so-called Bowie scale. Bowie scale. Now, this is the scale of energy potential. And some of you know that a healthy human is at about 7,500 Bowies, 8,000. If we are tired, it drops to 6,000. If we are sick, 5,500. And if you are full of the energy, 9,000, 10,000. If you are spiritual, 12,000. If we can heal with the touch, 14,000, 15,000. The water that we drink at homes, tap water, city water, is only 3,500 bovies. So now imagine, we are 8 or 15,000, drinking 3,500. It's simply pulling us down, does not give us the energy that we need. But on the other hand, if we eat raw vegetables, no pesticide, no GMO, it's about 10,000 bovies. If we drink freshly squeezed orange juice, it's about 12,000. And that's rather logical, it's a common sense. We know if we drink and eat good and healthy, our energy level goes up. Even some places, like places where there is a lot of meditation, positive thoughts, like Buddhist temples, they got 14,000 on a Bovi scale. And here in the tunnels, 25,000, meaning this is a special place. And we are saying this is a sacred space, really. So the moment you got here, the energy started working on you. So right now it's probably a couple of 3,000 Bovi more than when you entered the tunnel system. Okay, now you can go slowly back.
Excuse me, how do you measure that?
This scale, it has a scientific point, which is about 7,500 Bovi. And it matches 7,500 angstrom, and that's the lower border of the red color, or but mostly it is measured by dowsing means. Dowsing. So there is a scale, and they ask the questions, and they show you where you're at on this scale. Yeah, it's not 100% scientific, but the reason why we insist on such methods like dowsing, it gives us very good hints. For example, we know that dowsing is very effective when it comes to underground waters. So if one experienced dowser tells you, hey, you got the water, let's say 20 or 50 meters below, the chance is that 70–75% he or she is right. If you have 5 dowsers and they all tell you the same thing, exactly here, 20 meters below is the water, it's probably 90% that they are right. So when we have so many of them, they give us an idea. If all of them are telling us, you have the megalith, you have the water underneath. So now we try to, connect the dots. Why? And then when you have so many underground water streams, the next logical explanation, they're not all natural. So you have some engineered work underground. That's why I'm saying always, they're always good as a hint. Because sometimes you, as a scientist, you cannot find explanations. But then you're getting these inputs from, different walks of life. And they help you to get the complete picture. All right. I'm looking for your shoes. I see you. You're in the back. Come over here.
But you have to be here.
I can see you. Ah, look at this. Now, this block we discovered in early stage, 2006. At that time, the conglomerate here was a little bit higher, going all the way up to here. So everything below was covered in sand and rocks. Only the upper parts were sticking. So all these carvings are rather recent, maybe 100 years or so. But everything below is very old, and you can see there are no sharp edges like here. So all these are old. And as you can see, there are some carvings geometrically shaped. Some of them looks more like regular letters. Some of them are little modified letters like letter H, but a little bit different. Letter M, and so on and so forth. Now, here you can see more of them. And here also, R and Y and so on. Now, of course, the best known combination of the geometry and the letters is called runic writings, runic symbols. It's one of the oldest conventionally accepted writings in Europe. According to some conventional scientists, there are about 2,500 to 3,000. according to some independent researchers, they go back to 8,000 years back. And the origin, the Middle Europe, then going north, Scandinavia, going west, UK, and then going south. Now we have 7 symbols that perfectly match runic symbols. These are runic symbols. As you can see, the combination of geometry and the letters. Here also we have R, and P, and M. But also we have some of the symbols we are finding on this block. Now, if they are runic symbols, it means that they are more recent. So when we started excavation here, we thought it was only one culture. The tunnel builders, who also the megalith builders and so on. But it seems that we have more cultural layers. It's very possible that megalithic culture was the first one before we had conglomerate. They were first one. There was a valley here, the flat area, and they had those megaliths, you know, placing them above very potent energy places. Megalithic culture, they were gone. Everything was covered by the conglomerate, huge floods, the second civilization, the tunnel builders, who were the pyramid builders at the same time. They carved all those tunnels in, they moved material, built the pyramid. The third civilization, those who sealed everything off. And maybe the fourth one, the very entrance of the tunnels, up to a little bit, another 10 or 15 meters from here, there was open, one small tunnel. So they were coming from the entrance, they were carving their symbols, and they probably belong to one of the known cultures. So that might be the fourth one, the runic symbols. And we are the fifth one, the 5 worlds.
And there is
like
a
in the
sixth
Maya.
one.
Coming.
There is a 6th one.
There is a 6th one.
The oldest one.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
The deepest one.
Oh yeah. Below us.
170 meters.
But for all of them, or all of us, this was extremely important area. Even if you don't understand sometimes, but then we are trying to get the knowledge.
So time goes back even
more.
And then it would be good what Paul would say concerning the sun storms and everything. And
Yes.
Valerie, altogether maybe we find an idea,
Yes.
a solution.
Today we are romantic, we live on the surface, we think that's the only and the best way to live, we can see the sun and the sky. But in the past, it wasn't like that always. I mean, probably the atmosphere was contaminated, it was very dangerous to live on the surface. And of course, people were hiding below the surface, and this is where they found their refuge. And that's why we had in so many cultures idea about the subterranean, cities and tunnels, and people finding all the resources below the ground. And as you can see here, they were able to produce them. The water, the fresh air, the negative ionization, all this stuff, the energy sources they needed. So still a lot to uncover here. And after 9 years and 1,350 meters, we're actually still at the beginning. Maybe we uncover 5% of this network. And what we do know is that the biggest discoveries are in front of us. So when you have people coming here like shocked saying, oh, it's all natural, who cares what they say? The science is not about their opinions. The science is about, research and progress, trying to understand, analyze, testing, dating. All right, let's move on. Then we started doing all these measurements, and then we realized how little we knew about the tunnel system. And if it is the truth that the vibration level somehow is getting higher, more negative ions, the Bobby scale, stuff like that, it means that it cleans us while we stay here. Deeper we go, we get more purified, more pure. And then the logical conclusion would be, we can enter the pyramid only if we are absolutely pure. totally different concept than any other pyramid in the world. And if that's the case, it means that we have to be ready for the pyramid. Not anyone can just enter it. We have to be ready. So if that's the case, then it justifies such a relatively slower pace. So I think there is a reason why it goes rather slow. But again, after 9 years to have so much work done without the official help, I think that we've done miracle.
Yeah.
Now, archaeology is very expensive. During the winter, we have to replace at least 150 to 200 meters of wooden support. Every 3-4 years, we need to replace all of it because of high humidity. It got rotten. But now, some of the coal miners were telling us, why don't you use metal support? Well, metal support, yes, it has duration. But you bring metal, you bring iron, it generates its own electromagnetic field. So now it affects what they created here. So we don't want to make that mistake. So we go with organic material and some problems that they bring, but at least we don't change stuff around here. Of course, electricity is the second thing. 220, 50 hertz, not very healthy, we know that. But we need to see what we do here. Which brings another question. They did not have electricity. How did they move? And they had labyrinth. If we open all the tunnels today here, we couldn't find our way out, even with so many lights and lamps. How did they move? Or who were they? Or what was the real purpose? So still all these questions remain unanswered. Now this will be the end of today's tour. I hope that you enjoyed. We go back to our bus and we go and have a nice lunch today. Thanks. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.